I think we're live. Hello, Internet. How are
Internet.
you?
Hey, Internet.
Second musical guest in a row, Mr. Wesley Scott, also known as Zulu Panda, joins us. Thank you for stopping by. I guess.
Yeah, my pleasure.
What do you say now over the Internet?
You know, we should go back to the way they wanted to do it in the old times. You know, ahoy. You know?
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say, do you call it stopping by anymore? Because we're not physically in the same room, but it's like over Zoom. I don't know. It's kind of being pedantic
dropping in,
at this
showing
point.
up.
Yeah,
dialing
showing
in.
up.
Huh?
I like that.
Hey,
Showing up's good because it's more apt because it's like a show, like a TV show. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to episode 150 of Outrage Factory. The
That's all the fanfare you're getting. That's all
we
the
hit
fanfare.
the century and a half mark. That's plenty. I'm your Derek Bolin. I'm joined as always by that guy, Dale DeRuiter, and our guest today, Wesley. Why don't you tell us some interesting shit about yourself?
Great. I love interesting shit. Hi, I'm Wesley Scott, aka Zulu Panda. I'm a singer-songwriter from Vancouver. What do? I am a big nerd. I work for an Indigenous organization as a workshop coordinator. I mostly talk about the history of Indian residential schools. And I make prayer candles in my spare time of famous people and not so famous people, and
that's Marty from last week.
I was gonna say, is that a Marty candle?
Yeah, Marty prayer candle.
There you go, guys. But, hit up that Bandcamp link from last week's podcast to get yourself one of those.
Yeah, I'm also a musician, a singer-songwriter. My most recent album is called Sad Bastard Music, and it's available everywhere online. And I love being creative and making music and connecting with people.
Can we talk more about the candles? Because I really want to pimp those out. Fantastic idea. Yeah. I was looking at your Flickr gallery before.
Flickr, is that still a thing?
It is.
And I don't want to be rude or anything, but I haven't touched my Flickr in a long time. I guess that's more a reflection on me.
You haven't flicked in a long time?
We should get Outrage Factory candles. Nice.
So Wesley, you just what do you do? Like, you take the old school prayer candle images and put celebrity faces on them and then print those up, or what?
Basically. So, the idea of it was I was hunting around for Christmas gifts for people, and I wanted something interesting. I've been working with Photoshop since I was 14, so it's an old hat to me. So I was looking at things and I was like, you know what, these are kind of fun. I bet you I could make my own. And so I started making my own for friends, and then it just kind of steamrolled, and I didn't know where to host my portfolio, so to speak. And I didn't want exactly a website yet because I don't want to get like cease and desist orders or anything like that. And so I just put together an old Flickr that was for photography for my candle photo or designs rather. And I pretty much all year round I make and share candle designs, and people love them. And
super fucking cool idea. So if people want to get candles in for this Christmas, like, what's the turnaround time on those if we want to?
Well, right now it's pretty good. Like, I just caught up, so I'm open to orders. But
nice.
It's one of those things that it really depends how much I have on my table. Like, I just filled a request for 36 of them. And so it took a little while to catch up with, but it's just me making them as a hobby. It's something to stay sane. I'm actually on vacation right now, and I have been since Halloween. And I won't be back in work until January. So it's one of those things where I just need to keep sane. So I've just been having fun making designs and sharing them with people. And there's a couple stores in Victoria that have picked them up, and I've shipped them worldwide, UK, United States, all across Canada. Yeah.
Can you get scented candles, or is it like...
These ones are neutral, but I've started working with burnout candles and candles.
Another local business?
Yeah, they are amazing, and they are going to have a corgi-themed candle.
Nice.
Is going to be quite nice. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, I'm definitely like I want to chat and place an order after this because
Let's just talk about candles for the whole podcast.
Okay, that's something that I've jumped into recently. I was married. My wife was here for 2 months over the summer, and she just like as a guy, I don't think I owned a single candle until she came here and stayed with me. And now there's just candles fucking everywhere in my apartment, and I'm like, it smells nice. They have a nice ambiance, and now I can specifically pray to the celebrities I already admire.
You know what else, Derek?
A prayer candle. What's up, Dale?
It makes pooping romantic if you do it by candlelight.
It does, yeah. Turn off all the lights.
Yeah, have a little COVID you time.
Put on some
Take
Kenny
a moment.
G Christmas.
Yeah.
And,
Ooh. Some slow saxophone music. What's that other guy? He does like easy listening jazz saxophone. Richard Elliott.
Who?
Richard Elliott. Look him up. You will not be disappointed. Richard Elliott, Chill Factor. That's pretty good candle listening music.
Sure, yeah.
Or
about 160 designs now, and it's just so random who people get on a candle.
yeah,
Like, I've had requests from World of Warcraft to random Brazilian pop stars. It's just
weird.
the most random things. So you could definitely pick and choose your own favorites. So
is there anyone you can't do? Like, if I want a Jeffrey Epstein candle, would you do that for me?
the only one I've turned down is Donald Trump.
Okay.
I couldn't get behind that. It was 2015, and I got 2 different requests for it, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I was just like, you know what, this guy's bad news. I don't want to get involved with that. I actually got in a little bit of hot water because I did one of the Chicago mayor, and a bunch of people in Chicago were upset about her reaction to COVID-19, and were not happy with the fact that I was making these prayer candles. So there was a couple other people involved in that, but that's the way it is sometimes. So.
Yeah. I think we live in an era where it doesn't matter who you put on a candle now, somebody is going to be upset by it.
Oh, yeah.
But it provides good.
We've had this podcast for over 3 years because people get upset
People
about
get
stuff
mad
like
about
prayer candles.
absolutely fucking everything.
Guys, before we continue, someone has their notification sound on, and we gotta fix that. I'm just speaking out for the people who get annoyed by.
Is it me?
It might be you. It sounds Apple-y because it sounds like the ding.
Okay, we should be okay now.
Is this your first podcast, Derek?
It is, yeah, as a matter of fact. 150 episodes is the first one I showed up for.
It's actually Wes's first podcast, and he didn't have his notifications on. I'm just saying.
My assumption, because I plugged the headphones in, and my assumption is that means the notification sounds will come through my headphones, but for whatever reason on Apple, they do not. See, it still comes out of my computer speakers.
That would make sense, except for Apple is counterintuitive with their tech, so that makes sense for Apple as well. Like, I don't think a PC, I don't even know. What do you call what do the kids call all the PCs that aren't Apple now?
I guess you call them Androids.
Yeah, and Android computers.
Yeah.
All right. The Android computers probably wouldn't do that, just saying. I'm just saying. Do you guys want to talk about stuff now that I completely derailed the candle talk?
I mean, we can, or we can talk about candles more. I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, I was talking about candles. You know what else you could do by candlelight? You can get vaccinated.
That's the thing.
All-time great segue.
The best. After 150 episodes, guys, I still got it. My segue game is tight as Heelys. Because that's the tightest thing I could think of.
Hey, so we've cured COVID, I guess. We're all getting vaccinated. Everyone's going to get the vaccine. The vaccine is rolling out, and 330 million people in North America are going to get it over the next week. And that's it. We're done. Life is going back to normal.
Do you guys want to hear my insane proclamation?
Sure.
At least temporarily, when it comes to this vaccine, I'm an anti-vaxxer. I'm not getting it yet. If they came up to me tomorrow and they're like, hey, do you want this? I'd be like, can I wait a sec? Like, I'm not even buying the new Xbox because I want to know it works properly and doesn't have bugs. So I'll wait like 6 months for that. I'm not going to stick the vaccine in me until we at least know what's going on.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Dale. No one on this video chat is getting the vaccine in the next 10 to 12 months anyway.
I know.
Like,
I was going to use that as a convenient cover for me being an anti-vaxxer. I'll tell you the main reason why I'm an anti-vaxxer. So I recently saw a headline. I didn't really read the article because it was too disturbing. The headline was long-term effects from COVID are erectile dysfunction. And since I'm a male, that's pretty much the worst horror story thing I could think of is my PP not working anymore. So this vaccine works. It's like an mRNA vaccine. So it doesn't give you a dead version of the virus. It gives you something like a protein that like tricks your body into thinking it had the virus. So your body will like work up the autoimmune shit. So
it will produce antibodies for it. Yes.
So if my body thinks I got the disease, that makes my PP not work. Will my PP not work? Is this vaccine going to give me erectile dysfunction? Until somebody tells me yes or no, or tells me no, then I'll get the vaccine.
Yes or no. I just want to know if I have erectile dysfunction or I don't.
Yeah. Will this give me erectile dysfunction? Yeah. I guess, whatever.
As long as I know.
I
just can't deal with the uncertainty.
Well, the one I was really confused about was, so why is everybody signed on with the Pfizer one when Dolly Parton basically commissioned the Moderna one or whatever it was? Didn't she like single-handedly fund another company? And are the effects different? Like there was that whole thing where the Moderna one was something like 95% effective and the Pfizer one was 90% effective.
I think it's kickbacks, Wesley. Yeah, and especially since Pfizer, you have to keep the stuff, that's my medical term for it. You have to keep the stuff at negative 80 degrees. So how are you gonna you got to build like a specialty truck just to drive it around? Like that's not even gonna, like dry ice can keep it at minus 80, but only for a temporary time. And the Moderna one is only negative 20. The only thing reason I could think of that is I think Moderna might only be a US one, whereas Pfizer's international. So yeah.
So they're both I mean, both vaccines are available internationally.
Oh, are they?
They're both from companies headquartered in the US. So I'm not sure. Like, I think a lot of governments, they kind of hedge their bets and they had options to purchase both. So it seems like both are going to be rolling out. I don't know if like the end person is going to have a say one way or the other.
That is not a Coke and Pepsi thing.
Yeah. Blind taste test. Dale, I want to point out, and Kate actually raised this in the chat as well, but you have done plenty of things over the course of your lifetime that would contribute to erectile dysfunction.
What?
So
I haven't.
Kate didn't point that.
I don't want this to be the straw that broke my penis's back, okay? I don't want it to be all the shit I did to my body that would make my penis not work, and then I get a vaccine and then it just deflates for the rest of my life.
I think that's the point of vaccines, right? Like they're not giving you an active dose of the virus. They're just giving you like a low level dose, or in this case, I don't even know if they're dosing you with the virus at all, but it is.
No, they're not giving you the actual virus. Usually they give you a dead version of the virus. Like if you have, like say it's a virus for measles, they'll take measles, they'll kill the virus, and then they'll give you that so your body could be like, oh, this is the thing, and then they'll like make stuff inside you.
Yeah. So there are like this is a virus with where the long-term health effects, like we're not going to know what the long-term effects of COVID are for many years. But we're also going to, a byproduct of that is that we're not going to know what long-term effects of the vaccine are for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's something that scares people. I've had to get in private DM fights with a couple of people on Twitter over the fact that there is a lack of information sometimes, but sign me up, man. I'm gonna get it. I think it's important to get, in the sense that we got to get through this as efficiently as possible. I believe that the vaccine is going to help people long term. But there are people who it hasn't been tested on, people who it could still be harmful to. I mean, they haven't really talked about the issues with pregnancy. I mean, how many COVID families are being created at this point in time? So it's, how's it going to affect kids or mothers or that sort of thing. So hard to
Yeah.
know.
One thing that saw was weird that was that both Canada and the UK okayed giving the vaccine out before the US. And the US is usually one of the like kind of more Wild West when it comes to drugs and stuff. Like usually Canada and the UK are more stringent on what they'll approve and stuff. So that was weird. I think another thing is
We beat them by
nobody.
like a day, though, didn't we? Like there was like a
2
day.
days.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
actually, Canada beat the States by I think 3 or 4, and the UK's actually already started administrating it. But the thing that worries me is there's no rich, famous people getting it yet. And if this was like totally like, this is gonna work, the rich people would be the first in line because
Well,
they're
rich
the best
and
people in our
have to keep
society.
quiet too. They've probably already got a couple doses lined up,
Mhm.
and they're just not telling anybody about it, unless they're like
That's a
doing it
good point.
and want them like scented or something. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess like they would maybe wait. And then did you guys see that thing with the that lady's foot? This was one thing I kind of knew Derek would love. But Derek, did you see that? That picture of that lady's foot?
No, Dale, if it's a picture of a foot, any
Oh,
foot,
dude.
I will
Oh,
take
dude.
a wide berth around feet and spiders. Like fuck out of here with both of those.
And don't look at it
Okay.
because it is highly disgusting and disturbing. So what happened
as
was
feet normally are, yeah.
Yeah, what happened? I'm not saying this is real, but this lady was in the trial for the vaccine, and then she got this like huge pustule on the bottom of her feet, and they opened up, and she went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, this sometimes happens from like when your body has a bad reaction to drugs," and so she put up a GoFundMe to get like money for medical help because that's how you get healthcare in the States is you start a GoFundMe. And then everybody kind of freaked out and Pfizer was like, actually, she didn't get an active vaccine. We just went back through our records, which are supposed to be anonymous, but she got the salt water injection.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I believe you, Pfizer. That sounds completely normal that you would have to go back and double check afterwards to say that she didn't get it.
I mean, I believe it. Why?
Yeah.
Why would?
I'm just saying, if she did get the feet stuff from the vaccine, then for sure Pfizer would be like, "Oh yeah, no, she didn't get the vaccine."
I don't know that they would, because then they're going to risk. Then they're going to risk that, like, owning up to one person getting the effect, like, and having an adverse reaction to a vaccine is going to impact Pfizer's stock a lot less than suddenly they roll out this vaccine and fucking hundreds of thousands of people get it. Like, I know we all have this tendency to be like, oh, major corporations are shady, especially like pharmaceutical and, med tech and biomedicine companies. And they are to an extent, but like these companies cannot operate under the expectation that their products are going to kill people, because if they kill people, they're not making money anymore. Maybe they just want to like sicken them permanently.
This is the umbrella corporation here. This is, somebody who wants to make a profit. So they're at least hedge their bets. I mean, I don't know. It just seems a little far-fetched to think that.
I mean, I'm not saying that that she did get the vaccine. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if it happened that way. And that's disturbing enough to me. But like, she also said she was on medication for back pain too, and that's another thing, is like, how is this going to combine with people's other medications? Because one of the highest risk people is people with comorbidities. So all these people who have comorbidities will be taking drugs and prescriptions for their comorbidities. Sorry, I was just seeing how much I could say that. So what's this vaccine going to do if, like, say I'm taking heart medication or obese? Is there obese medication?
Like probably like diabetes medication, like
Yeah,
insulin
and stuff
shit.
like that. Like, how is this going to have effect on that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of fucking medicines out there for a ton of like varying and increasingly rare medical conditions. And they did as much wide scale testing as they could. But I think there are still a lot of situations where it's like testing fucking computer code, right? Like there are going to be a lot of weird corner cases or like edge cases that nobody would have ever considered that come up. And that's what the next 9 to 10 months are going to look like, is there's going to be like little pockets of like someone has an allergic reaction or someone has a bad reaction or it interacts with this drug poorly. And we find out about it that way. But a lot of people are going to use that to validate their decision to continue not getting this vaccine or many vaccines. And I'm preemptively frustrated by this because like getting this vaccine developed and brought to market and executed on in the time we did is like a triumph of modern science and medicine. Definitely. Like it's fucking
4 years before.
Yeah, like that was the fastest. It was 4 years and we turned this around in fucking 9 months. I saw someone posted on Reddit and they had a really good explanation of like why it was as fast as it was, because basically the world was shut down. This had everyone's like singular focus and they were able to like execute on all the testing and shit that they normally have to do at a much bigger scale because everyone has coronavirus and and there's not a lot of other shit going on. So I think it is a triumph. I think overall it is safe. I think there are going to be cases where it is unsafe for certain individuals or it does react poorly or people do have bad reactions to it. But I think overall the people who are freaking out about it are doing so because they were already generally distrustful of medicine or science or pharmaceutical companies or a combination of the three, and they're just going to continue using this to validate that.
Yeah.
Well, I've already gotten a flu shot, so I'm not above getting shots. It's just
Dale, people have reactions to flu shots. Man.
I'm just saying I have too many questions. But like you said before, it's like it's almost a moot point because before they let not rich dudes like us get it, it's going to be like a year or so. So by then, I'm pretty sure they'll be like, these are the side effects. This is how likely you are to get them. And I'll be like, yeah, sure, it'll be worth it. So I'm probably going to get it when it's time for us to get it. But I'm just saying, if someone came up to me tomorrow and was like, do you want to be at the forefront of this? Do you want to be one of the first people? I would wait.
You're okay being hunkered down that much longer?
I haven't hunkered down at all, though. Like, I'm an essential worker.
Dale's been very responsible.
No, I have to go to work every day because I'm essential. So actually, if they said you can either take this virus or go to work, like if you didn't take the vaccine, did I just say take this virus? Anyways, if I didn't take this vaccine, I couldn't go to work tomorrow. I would take it because I feel like I keep telling everybody, I feel like I'm on pandemic on cheat mode because I'm going to work every day. So my new normal is pretty much the same as my old normal.
Yeah, because your social life was also mostly just like hanging in your apartment playing video games. So it's been relatively...
I think, if anything, this is just going to teach everybody what the dream I've been living really is. Because video games now are pretty fucking good. And TV, I'd say TV's at an all-time high.
Yeah,
like maybe some of the stories aren't as good as they used to, but if there's any time period that you think had better TV, you could still watch all that TV plus the new TV in your home without leaving. All you need is an internet connection. No, I mean, if they were like, if you don't get this vaccine, we'll take away your internet connection, I would be in lineup tomorrow.
So for me as a musician, it pretty much crippled like the year for me. And, you know, as I said, I put out a new album and I wasn't able to tour with it. And I actually went last year, you know, as far as Montreal. I was on the road for 2.5 months. You know, I tour regularly. I've toured in China, I've toured in the United States. I've been to every province and territory in Canada, and I really enjoy touring. It's where I meet most of my fans and get to perform live and, you know, make some green in music, which isn't very possible nowadays as an independent artist. So this year has been super rough. And so when March rolled around, it was just like, game over, man. It was rough. And so trying to remotivate and find different outlets for music in the, COVID norm, so to speak, was a bit rough. And so, for me, being able to get back out on stage and not have to worry about it would be really awesome. So I fully welcome the vaccine in that sense, because I want fans. I want people in the audience. I want to be able to perform live. It's just not the same when it comes to, the nature of live streaming music online.
Doing virtual shows.
The virtual show thing, like the audio isn't quite there. And you're not only competing against, your peers that you would normally compete against, you're competing against big acts. Like Elton John was live streaming, or some random guy I know from Newfoundland who, is live streaming for the first time off of his laptop mic. And it's just, there's a lot of competition and the audio is not quite there, and people aren't quite ready to sit down for, a couple hours in front of their computer and watch a musical event. So
it's not like podcasts where everybody wants to watch this live stream. I was gonna say something, but I can't remember. But yeah, if they want to find your album, they can go on Spotify to listen to it now. Zulu Panda
is the best place to go. ZuluPanda.bandcamp.com. But I'm on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all that jazz. So
check out his song Space Force. It's been stuck in my head for a week.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's my anti-Trump song, so to speak. So
everybody's anti-Trump now.
I saw a stat the other day that was like, I think the music industry alone lost $30 billion, I want to say, this year as a result of COVID. And that's just like, that's everything. That's bands no longer touring. That's concert halls. That's bands not selling merch that they used to. That's like a lot of people are probably listening to less music because there's nobody has a fucking commute anymore. So that's hit like a ton of acts really, really hard.
Definitely.
So reminder to everyone,
what's her name from Stars? Amy Milan was just saying that like most of their revenue dried up because they weren't touring, and even a band that size is significantly impacted. But I'm not complaining either. This is life, right? It affects everyone here. We're all dealing with it. There's a lot of people who are struggling. I'm glad that I'm still able to make music and can afford to make music. It's not like I'm working at a grocery store or anything like that to pay the bills in the meantime. The people who are on the front lines, healthcare workers, retail, I couldn't imagine working in retail right now. Like that would be so brutal.
Yeah.
Not only putting up with Christmas BS, but just, masks and anti-masks.
Yeah, anti-maskers.
Yeah.
I'd lose my shit. Like I would lose my shit on these people.
That reminds me of something. Like I just unintentionally got in a Twitter spat right before this started because I read somewhere that they said even if you get the vaccine, you're still going to have to wear a mask. And I was like, but like, doesn't that kind of, so what I'm wondering is if you get the vaccine and like everybody gets the vaccine, are we not just going to go right back to the old normal? Like, are we still going to have like a transition period where we don't know exactly what happens with the vaccine? Like someone was saying that it gets rid of symptoms, but it might still allow people to be asymptomatic carriers and stuff. So
they're not 100% certain on virus transmission when I think it's in the first like 2 or 3 days after you get the first dose of the vaccine. So they're saying during that window, you might still be able to transmit it to other people. Regardless, it doesn't fucking matter. Like everyone's hearing this vaccine news and everyone's acting that like by January or February, life's going to be going back to normal. There are 330 million people that need to be, 360 million people if we're counting. And that's just in North America. So like by the time September or October rolls around and all the peasants like us are getting vaccinated, they're going to have a better idea of what the transmission looks like in those early days, what the medium term impacts are, what the adverse reactions are. Like it's a non-issue until then, but like we are, for better or worse, we are on lockdown until I think they're saying it'll be Yeah, September or October of next year, by the time we hit a level of vaccinations or infections where we've achieved herd immunity, and then people can generally.
I thought they were saying herd immunity was a myth. So
Yeah.
now we're back on to herd immunity.
Herd immunity in conjunction with the vaccine.
I'm just fucking with you, Derek. I know.
She's stale. Don't fucking get me started. So it's like September or October next year, and everyone who's acting that like, yes, the vaccine is a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a super fucking long tunnel. So like,
and it's a little light, like this.
It's it's just like a little pinprick right now.
It's so hard to know if people are going to be, positive or assholes about this in a lot of ways. Let's say somebody gets the vaccine and they're like, well, I don't give a crap about other people anymore. I'm not going to wear my mask. I got the vaccine, versus, the idea of, acting in the common good of like, oh, I don't want to pass it on to grandma and gramps. I'm going to wear the mask still, even though I'm in better chance of not getting it. So it's, it depends on how many assholes are around, I guess.
You say it's hard to tell. Yeah, you say it's hard to tell. I think all you have to do is look at the past 9 months. Say, it's a pretty safe bet that people are going to act in their own self-interest and fuck everybody else.
Well, call me an optimist. I'd like to think that people are more positive in that regard. It's, the Christmas time, people are coming together, blah, blah, blah. Maybe somebody's responsible. So.
Hopefully. I mean, it is like Derek said, it is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not the full, like, we're going to be cured or whatever, but it is still something to look forward to. And I think that that's going to help a lot of people out, like, especially like people who aren't as lucky as us, who like, cause we're pretty much still working. I am the same. Derek, you're working from home, and Wes, you said you're on vacation or whatever, but you still.
Man, I have a really weird work life right now, so.
Yeah, but it's like I'm just worried. I'm just feel bad for those people who haven't been able to work at all, and seeing something like this, and just the promise of change in the future should be a good enough. Like, just to keep people's spirits up, mostly.
But shit's going to be getting really tough over the next little while, too, because
Derek,
it's not just like, I'm sorry, not to fucking shit on everyone's parade, but like...
Wes is an optimist. Don't do this to him.
The virus is just like kicking the shit out of the US and Canada right now. So we're going to be seeing like daily deaths going up. We're going to see people impacted by that. And then a lot of the social safety measures that they put in place are set to expire well before everyone's going to be getting vaccinated. So we're going to be seeing, mass evictions, a lot of people still unemployed, a lot of people defaulting on debt. Like the worst of COVID-19 is honestly yet to come. Like you look at all the horrific shit that happened over the past year. Probably the first like 3 to 4 months of 2021 are going to make that look like a fucking Joe Biden inauguration parade. And then it will get better, but like this isn't something that we're going to be coming out of even next year. Like this is going to be, we're going to be looking at the long-term effects of this, like both psychologically, economically, and physically, I guess, for a long ass time.
So what you're really saying is Merry Christmas, and
just hey,
this is that John Lennon song. So this is Christmas, just like for a year on repeat. That's how depressing your little tirade just was. Let's stop talking about this. How about that?
I want to make one.
How's
one
that for a segue? Just
for you specifically, Dale. No, you, Dale.
Oh, me.
Dale, you
sorry.
Specifically.
I already know everything, so I thought you were pointing at my fish.
So you've seen I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're getting a vaccine, would you rather be the guy who gets turned into a superpowered vampire or the person who gets eaten by a superpowered vampire? No, why would you even have to think about that? You want to be you want to be the superpowered vampire.
Do I have to be the guy who chokes his dog to death, or do I get superpowers?
Yeah.
Obviously I want superpowers. Actually, if you watch
for the vaccine,
the Omega Man with Charlton Heston, It turns out he's the monster. Because the original story was like these people, like he says they're like vampires and stuff, but then it just turns it on its head where it's like during the day when they're asleep, he's busting into their homes and like killing all them when they're just
he's
like
the fucking asshole.
nice guy vampires just trying to live their life.
The version I like is the Vincent Price movie.
Oh yeah, wait, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
And that Vincent Price in that is just golden, but he's the dick who's going around and killing all the vampires, and they're like, "No, we've recreated society. What do you?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, will it be that?
Hopefully not.
Yeah. So
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just food for thought for everyone out there. It's better to get the vaccine that mutates you and gives you superpowers.
Speaking of food for thought, the sausage scene in the Omega Man, which is like one person's gonna get that. He's just like in the Omega Man, he's cooking sausages, and for some reason they're like around his neck. He's got like a big chain of linked sausages, and he's just like boiling them, and that's what he's eating. And it's just like a very homoerotic. Sorry, I don't know why I forgot the word homoerotic, but yeah,
I mean,
it's just like he's like in the 70s, and he's like wearing this like big collared shirt, and he's just like cooking up these sausages and then like playing with them and stuff. So we good? Wes, did you want to add anything to vaccines?
No, I have nothing regarding vaccines here, man. It's just crazy. Just journalists must have such a hard time finding things to report on, because like it's the same thing day in, day out, depressing, and they're always like, oh, this person is an anti-vaxxer and this person won't wear their mask, and just like it's just the same news again and again. But I don't know, we get fed so much news that is weird, like that you mentioned in your email that Santa that said no to Nerf guns, and I was laughing at that, but like that just feels like such a Fox News clickbait thing. It's almost like somebody would set it up. It was so like shocking, like, oh, how dare Santa in Illinois say this,
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could talk about that now that you brought it up with the delicious segue. I mean,
that was the segue.
It puts my first segue to shame, but you're the guest, so I'll let it slide. I'm not going to be mad at all.
Hey, I'm kidding, man. I vow.
So what happened was a 4-year-old boy went to ask Santa for a Nerf gun, and then Santa, being like some person, I don't know, he had like some personal vendetta against guns. He's like, no, we don't give guns. You can't have a gun. And he's like, even a Nerf gun, Santa? And Santa was like, no, Billy, I'm a killjoy. And then the kid started crying and like ran to his parents, and it's the States, so obviously everybody should just have guns when they're 4 years old.
Did this come from a reputable news source? Because this does sound like a very fucking...
Yeah, I mean, there was a video of it in NBC
Washington Examiner.
Yeah.
Stuff. But the thing that gets me, so if you compare that instance, to the instance where the little boy saved his sister from a dog attack, right? So in the little boy versus the dog attack, he saves his sister. All these celebrities step up and, encourage him for being a hero. And like Chris Evans steps in and gives him all his Captain America stuff. And, everybody's rooting for him, and the kid's, doing well and healing and stuff. And that's positive, uplifting. And that's a positive thing in journalism. But it feels like this is almost a dark twist on it. It's like, here's evil Santa trying to take our guns away from our kids. Right. And so the mall is apologizing. The third-party Santa Corporation is apologizing. Nerf
Santa got fired.
Yeah, Nerf itself is sending the kid Nerf.
Oh yeah, this kid's gonna fucking make out.
And like this kid's probably got like 37 Nerf guns now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I say what you will about guns. It's one of those things that it just has a weird tone to it compared to the more uplifting family tale.
So there was this op-ed in, I don't even know what the fuck it was, LA Times or something, but it was basically, the whole op-ed was that conservatism in the US is dead, and the only thing that really remains now is like, conservatism is dead, like conservative standards are dead, all that remains now is a hatred of liberals. And that's that like, and I think that's almost true on both sides. Like there's no more... nobody really fucking cares about policy. No one really cares about what these political parties are doing. Nobody cares about these standards that like both political sides upheld for however long. It's now you want your party to win because you want the other guys to lose.
Oh, that's how Joe Biden is president.
Yeah, and I think that it's the media has keyed into that, and they know that like, okay, I report on this fucking story where this dumb dipshit Santa who doesn't like guns was saying that this little boy couldn't have a Nerf gun, and turn it into this national news story, because that is capitalizing on this division that exists now. And that's everything is a politicized issue, including fucking pandemic and mask wearing and like doing, reasonable things to protect your fellow human beings. And everything gets reported on and pushed so that you can find a story that makes you angry, so that you can just hate the other side more. And it is something that we see play out to a lesser extent, but it is still happening in Canada. And I'm just like, I don't know if this is the future of like political discourse. I don't know how fucking any country is supposed to operate when 50%, when its population is just like permanently turned against each other.
There's definitely that element of outrage that's being bred, It's like, if it, what was the old expression? If it bleeds, it reads. It's, it's the clicks, right? Everybody wants the outrage to get the clicks. So.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I feel like that's done for a bit now. I think everybody got so kind of like, I guess, outrage saturation from this election, at least. Like, everybody's seeing how Donald Trump is still acting, and they're like, Jesus, enough. Just give me like actual politics and stuff. And I think when people realize that Joe Biden got elected without saying any policies or sharing anything of his platform, they'll be like, oh yeah, maybe we should pay attention to that, instead of giving him person of the year for doing absolutely nothing. Like,
yeah, that was surprising. I can't believe that he got,
yeah.
I've never seen them do two people of the year per se, but it just seemed a little odd that the pair got person of the year.
It was the same thing though. It was like, oh, okay, 50% of the country will purchase this magazine. The other 50% will get angry about it and like read the article or share it just to like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they announced Joe Biden person of the year for being like marginally less shitty than Donald Trump. And like, Dale, you are marginally less shitty than Donald Trump, as am I.
Yeah.
Where's my person of the year?
But the language they used, they said changing the American story with empathy and healing. Like it just, I think they're almost promising too much with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they haven't fucking done anything yet. Like,
talk about not living up to the hype. Like, and Fauci's just sitting on the side being like, what do I gotta do? Like, like Biden's been around for what, like 2 months, and he's just been like, hey, Trump's not handling this pandemic very well, is he? I'm gonna make like this thing of people who are gonna talk about it, but we'll just wait till later. And it's like,
what a leader, what a visionary.
Yeah. I wanted to say they put both of them on the cover because it's like, if Biden didn't have Harris, there's no way he was getting elected. People were like, all right, we'll put up with like hair sniffing creepy uncle just because we like Kamala Harris and she'll take over once he's like mind completely goes to mush.
Yeah.
So I think, I
don't throw a lot of credence into the Time person of the year, so to speak. I mean, 1938 it was Hitler, and in 2006 it was you, the internet. Like, it was, I mean, they just have all these random selections sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say if I was an American, which I'm not, I probably would have voted Biden, but it's I have my socialist leanings, and I vehemently am opposed to Trump, as Space Force Nick indicated the song. But
I would have voted for Biden just because I'm sick of people like making fun of Trump and pretending like it's funny, just being like, hey, this big guy, he's a piece of shit. My hot take is he's a piece of shit. And you're like, cool.
You're just done with the memes.
Thanks
I'm done with everything about Trump. Like, I think, what was that, I think with Patrick, I just had to like, okay, we're not talking about Trump anymore. So
I don't think you're gonna. I think you're gonna be disappointed if you think like Trump's just gonna slink out of the limelight. And no one's gonna talk about him anymore.
Oh my God.
Like,
Oh, it's already good because it's like he just had a complete meltdown, and I don't have to hear about it. Like I'm just like I only see that he had a meltdown when I'm looking through what's trending on Twitter, and like the people who say what's trending are being like, you should pay attention to this. Like it's not in my timelines at all, like on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Like he doesn't come up organically at all anymore, which is quite honestly a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean,
do we want to talk like election update? The Trump team had yet another lawsuit thrown out by the Supreme Court.
those
I
are
don't
so
think
funny.
that-
Like the Crenshaw thing, and I'm like, Dave Crenshaw did something, and I was like, I don't want to know. I just don't care. It's like, yeah, Texas was saying what that Trump they wanted Trump to win, and you're like, yeah.
Well, Texas was apparently suing to have the votes of a different state thrown out, which is like a very fucking slippery slope. If you want to allow states to fuck around with other states and like have their votes voided, like I don't know if you want to go down. So the Supreme Court was like, fuck no, we aren't taking that up. But if you go on to Reddit, which is a little website that people spend time on, to the conservative subreddits, it's
don't listen to Derek. Do not go on conservative subreddit.
But you go there and
not
it's
like it.
fucked. Like it's crazy how many people are like, and that's kind of what the whole point of the op-ed was, where it's like conservative ideals don't exist because a lot of conservatives are now mandating or like arguing in favor of like, yeah, fuck states' rights. Like states should be able to sue each other and have their votes thrown out. And you're like, that is the opposite of what conservatism is. Nailed it.
There you go.
But
Very
it's
nice.
and it's just they just want the liberals or Democrats or Biden or whoever to lose, and they will do anything in the pursuit of that. So, but don't actually go to those subreddits. But it's scary to see how many people are like legitimately believe this election was a fraud.
Yeah, I like all that stop the steal stuff. Like I get it, like kind of like because Georgia and that other state are going to that, what is it, like a byway thing in January where they have to revote
runoff.
Yeah, the runoff where they're picking what, the House or the Senate?
The Senate. They're senators, yeah.
So I get how I know nothing about this. So Georgia
you know enough.
and the other one, they have to go to runoff elections on January 5th to pick, you said the Senate?
Yeah.
So they got to pick the Senate. So I get how, I don't know, Senate's a big deal. I don't know why they make rules or something. I don't know. So I get how all this posturing is somehow meant to affect those runoff elections. But I think now they're just starting to have the negative effect. Like what they're trying to do was Georgia, or they're trying to get the people in Georgia to vote for Republican Senate people. But now people are going to see all this bullshit that they've been doing. And at this point, it's just delegitimizing the Republican Party as a whole. Like before, it was just Trump is a lunatic, whatever, we can get out, and then we'll rebuild, and then we'll decide what to do. But now that all the other, like Crenshaw and all the other Republicans who are supposed to be like the next generation of Republicans are getting involved, and they're like, oh, hey, we're crazy too. It's just going to like fuck them over real bad.
Yeah, the blind faith that certain Republicans have in the party is astounding. I just can't fathom it sometimes, I guess there's some people in Canada who are the same way with the liberals and the conservatives, but it's I don't know. It's important to be at least skeptical, if not critically minded. I don't know. I have a rough time with it. I was involved with the young liberals when I was in university, and I just like the amount of like backdoor dealings and shady stuff that happened at like a small political level, and then you multiply it or amplify it to a grand political level. I'm sure it's just messy as all hell. It's not for me. I'm more of the armchair philosopher at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Every few years, I'll be like, I should run for office, and then I see what like politicians have to deal with, and just like basically sell their soul to.
Yeah.
I don't even know if like. I'm sure there are politicians out there who do genuinely like represent their constituents and like advocate for them, but I think they're few and far between, and now they're more just like shitty, beady-eyed opportunists who want to like climb the political career ladder and make a name for themselves. And it's no
Yeah, I feel like especially now, all like what Wes was talking about, where they get backdoory and like shady and stuff. I think that's happening younger. Like maybe at one time you had like someone like Bernie Sanders who was idealistic and managed to make his way up to a certain level before he repeatedly got shot down by the DNC and was not allowed to run. But anyways, but I feel like that's happening way younger now, where it's like you can't even get your foot in the door because they're not even opening it a crack for you now. Like you got to start shady and all, like toe the company line.
Yeah, I mean that's why party whips exist and stuff. I mean, definitely they make you play ball. That's for sure.
Yeah. Hey, you guys want another ham-fisted segue?
Love
Awesome.
it.
Because I feel like we've been depressing with the vaccines and the politics and the stuff. So let's talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Do you guys like
Before
Star
we
Wars?
start, I wanted to share. So this is my custom Millenium Falcon shaped.
Holy shit.
Holy
If
fuck.
anyone is not watching the video recording, you can just go to Instagram, Zulu_Panda. This is my Millennial Falcon guitar. It is a custom build from the original Kenner toy. And it's a beauty, that's for sure.
It's fucking beautiful.
That is amazing.
That's like one of those things you almost don't play because you don't want to put like pick scratches and stuff on it.
I play it a lot, actually.
I was gonna say, does it have like functioning pickups and it actually works?
It's got a DiMarzio pickup in it. It plays really loud. It's the loudest guitar I own. I've taken it on tour 3 times. It's broken a couple times on tour. I've had it painted. I've had it refinished a couple times.
So you're saying it was the toy. Did they like have to basically build up the outside to make it stronger so it wouldn't crack?
Yeah, so it's the original plastic toy, and then we hollowed it out and put an alder core. So.
Oh,
damn.
That is nice. If anybody, like he said, go to Instagram, you better check that out, because if you like Star Wars even a little bit, you're gonna love that guitar.
Yeah, I often do the kind of geek chic thing with my music. I don't sing geeky songs by any means. It's singer-songwriter, indie rock, grunge rock type of thing. But I've got my R2-D2 suit and Star Wars guitar.
Millennium Falcon guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I brought up Star Wars because after the success of The Mandalorian, Disney was like, fuck, let's just go all in with Star Wars.
With the TV model, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to have an Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And it was just announced that Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And this is going to take place 10 years after Episode 3, which basically at the end of it, you saw Hayden Christensen turn into Darth Vader. I'm so fucking pumped for this because I have a giant man crush on Obi-Wan Kenobi. Specifically, I just blanked on his name.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's how big of a man crush I have on him. I can't even remember his name.
Wait, how long was A New Hope after Episode 3? Like,
I think at least 20 years.
Luke
Because
Skywalker's entire life.
Yes, because at the end of I think it was like 20 years.
Okay.
Because at the end of Episode 3, they were babies, and then it's basically however old Luke was in A New Hope was the time in between them.
Yeah.
So like
right. So the new show will be like the halfway point between those. All right.
So it'll be probably Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader, kind of like are they going to catch each other, like hijinks, like spy versus spy almost, which would be awesome.
I think this is problematic though, because like he wasn't a great, maybe it was fed bad dialogue, but he wasn't a great Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker actor, 15 odd years ago. What is going to be any better now?
I'm going to make you feel better about this because the first 3 episodes of Star Star Wars. I've just been rewatching them because I was like, I'm gonna watch Star Wars start to finish. So I watched the first 2 episodes, and now I'm in like the Clone Wars like quagmire where there's like 7 seasons. So I'm in the middle of that. But what I've noticed was that like Liam Neeson was in these and he did terrible. And you're like, well, Liam Neeson is not a bad actor because I've seen him do good and stuff. But I think it was really shitty directing because they didn't like it was like I keep talking about this, but it was like when CGI was kind of new and they went like full tits out CGI in those movies and
Yeah.
they had like no practical effects. So one thing that would have happened was if the guys like the actors were like moving too much and shit, like if you go like this, they would have to like CGI around where your hand is and stuff. Like one of the things the guy from Roger Rabbit was talking about was the animation was so expensive. There was a scene where he was choking someone and they had to keep retaking the cut because he had his fingers open, like making a choke like this. But they didn't want to have to animate between his fingers because it would have been too expensive. So he had to like hold his hand still and have his fingers closed. So I think what happened was in those episodes, there was shit like that. Plus, there was so much going on that like the guys couldn't even really like they wouldn't be like, well, I don't really like that scene, can I recut it, try to add something myself? Like the like Hayden Christensen couldn't really be like, well, I feel like Anakin would have acted like this in this situation because they're on such a tight schedule that they would have been like, shut up, Hayden, just do it the way it's written and we're moving on. So I feel like this is really good because those movies pretty much ruined Hayden Christensen's career
Yeah.
because
So you think this will give him the opportunity to show his real chops?
yes, I feel like a Darth Vader under someone else's direction where he's wrestling with how he used to be a Jedi and now he's pretty much the epitome of evil, how he could kind of wrestle with that personally. And I think he'll bring a lot to the character and also it's kind of bad too because the character itself is pretty fucking annoying. Like if you watch the Clone Wars where there's no actual actor there, the way the character's animated, he's just like a piece of shit character. You're like, oh, get him off the screen. He's so annoying. Like he's supposed to be like an adult or something in the show, and he's supposed to be like a Jedi Knight, but he's still like a petulant teenager.
But what are they gonna do? Like James Earl Jones is like 89 now,
Yeah.
and is this gonna be Darth Vader unmasked fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi? I thought they burnt the hell out of his face, and he was going no at the end.
Oh, maybe. Well, they can't take off because that's the reason he died was because he took off his mask, right?
I
Because
guess.
he had like a ventilator something in there. So maybe they'll have like his mask comes off and then he like starts to maybe that'll be like the way that Obi-Wan constantly beats him is he'll just knock off his helmet with the force and then run away.
Well, the other thing is, isn't Obi-Wan Kenobi supposed to be like hiding on Tatooine the whole bloody time Luke Skywalker is growing up watching him? Like, why? Where are they going to go on these adventures where Darth Vader is going to find him?
I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
Yeah.
Also, they're going to have like a million other shows. Like they're doing a Ahsoka Tano like standalone series. Do you guys watch The Mandalorian?
I haven't seen season 2 yet. I really want to, but
Derek?
I have not. No, I heard it was problematic because Baby Yoda kept eating.
He ate frog eggs and stuff.
Committing genocide. Yeah.
Yeah. That was so many weeks ago. But Ahsoka Tano showed up like 2 weeks ago in an episode, and she's actually a character from the Clone Wars. She was actually Anakin Skywalker's Padawan before he turned. I don't know. I can't remember if she was in episode 3 or not because I'm waiting to watch that again till after the Clone Wars, but she has a huge part in the Clone Wars. So she was kind of like a fan favorite. And then they're doing a Lando show. I think they're gonna get Donald Glover.
I was gonna say if it's starring Donald Glover, I will watch the hell out of that.
Man, he's so funny and he's so talented at acting. Like he was he was my favorite part of that Solo story.
Oh yeah, and he's a rapper and he had the stand-up special. Like he's so talented. I hate him. Like I can barely enjoy anything. Like his whole stand-up special is like, You're funny too? What the fuck? You get everything.
Bullshit.
All right. You got a nice rap song? Okay, I guess you can rap now. And then he's acting, you're like, damn it. You're also
really
a serious actor?
I really wish they had introduced the character of Miles Morales into the public eye in terms of films for Marvel, so he could have been, so Donald Glover could have been Spider-Man, because that would have been awesome. You know, Donald Glover, you know, African-American Spider-Man, like, I'm totally down with that. So.
There was that whole internet campaign to make that happen for a while, and then it just kind of
and then
out,
he got a cameo in the Spider-Man Homecoming.
Which was badass. I loved it.
Yeah. When he got his hand stuck. Sorry, I was just gonna. Do you guys care all the shows that are coming up? Well, I wanted to.
I'd love to know. I haven't actually seen the full list.
I just got to Google it.
I mean, I know they were talking about a lot of things when it came to Star Wars and other things. It was just such an extensive list. I think Loki was on there, and there was some other ones. It was very like Disney princess orientated shows too. I think Tiana, or was it? What's the princess and the frog one? Tatiana?
No idea.
Anyways, it's there's a lot of Disney going on, that's for sure.
Okay, so I'm just looking at a picture. So we got Children of the Blood and Bone, don't know what that is. Star Wars Visions, don't know what that is. There's The Mandalorian season 3 got announced. Lando. There's a Rogue Squadron. There's Star Wars The Droid Story. There's the Ashoka one I was talking about. There's Rangers of the New Republic. I don't know why Willow's on here. That's not Star Wars, but
they're making a Willow show?
I don't know if it's a show or they're rebooting the movie, but whatever it is, I'm in.
Like the fucking Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Right? Oh, maybe these are, and then they're getting Star Wars The Bad Batch, Star Wars Andor, Star Wars Obi-Wan and Kenobi, Star Wars The Acolyte, and then Indiana Jones. But yeah, there's like a whole chunk of Star Wars. And I mean, just by the odds, some of these are going to be not good. But I know a lot of people are upset because they feel that as soon as Disney got their hands on it, they just overmilked the cow pretty much. And they're scared because I basically guess they're just scared that they'll make more Star Wars they don't like.
Because George Lucas was such a strict anti-consumerist.
And it's funny because it's like you have all these Star Wars people who call themselves Star Wars fans, and then they can't wait to tell you how much they hated the episodes 1 to 3. Yeah, they hated them. They hated episodes 4, 5, and 6, or not 4, 5, and 6. Sorry, 7, 8, and 9. Like they're like, oh, I hated the new Star Wars movie, and they're like, oh, do you like the original trilogy? They're like, no, I only like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. It's like you didn't even like A Return of the Jedi, and now you're complaining about all these Star Wars franchises when you basically only like 2 movies out of the whole universe.
That makes you a super fan. You like 2 movies.
You're like, I like that one from the 70s that was really cheesy. Those are the only ones I like.
I want to say the Willow series is going to be it's going to be a TV series. It's going to be a reboot TV series of George Lucas's cult fantasy movie Willow, executive produced by John M. Chu, best known for his work on Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, I'm in at Willow. Like, even if I don't like it, I'm still gonna watch every episode.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, and I forgot to mention, Taika Waititi or Tiki Waititi?
Taika
Waititi.
Oh, so I was wrong on both.
Yep, you were.
Taika Waititi is going to direct a Star Wars movie. They haven't said what yet, but he said he started writing it, and I'm pumped for that because that's the same guy who gave us Thor Ragnarok, which is my favorite Marvel movie.
He did Thor Ragnarok, which was fucking amazing.
Everything he's done. Everything he does is great. I mean, What We Do in the Shadows, both the TV series and the
so
movie.
Good.
Amazing.
Hunt for the Wilder People. It's like completely different tone. It's like a serious movie, but it's still really good.
And then Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit was so fucking good.
Yeah, I was leery going into that. I was like, how are you going to handle this in a way where it's going to be funny, yet not lampoon the whole thing? And then I watched it. I was like, oh, of course he did. He's amazing.
He's brilliant. Yeah. He was the director of Flight of the Conchords too, right? Is that
yes?
Is that correct? Same guy? I'm just like he's New Zealand. Like he's New Zealander.
He
guy, so
directed some
must
of
be.
them. I think that was one of the shows that had different directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like how good Taika? How good Taika Waititi is how good people say Wes Anderson is. Like you take all the hype from Wes Anderson.
Shifted on Wes Anderson lately. I don't think people are as much fanboys of Wes Anderson anymore.
Oh, they watch his movies and realize, yeah, nobody's as good as we thought he was. Like the weird thing about Wes Anderson is like people are like, I love Wes Anderson. I'm like, oh, Life Aquatic, that's one of my favorite movies. They're like, oh, we don't like that one. And I was like, then what do you like? Like, and they're like, the Grand Budapest Hotel, and I was like, what?
Who says that's their favorite Wes Anderson movie?
Or the one with Owen Wilson, the
Royal Tenenbaums, Bottle Rocket.
The one after that, the one after. Oh yeah, I forgot he's in so many.
Moonrise Kingdom.
The one before that, the one that wasn't funny and had him.
Limited.
Yes, that one is probably his worst movie. How about that? Okay, so now that we're done with politics, let's just rate Wes Anderson movies.
Wes Anderson movies. Fucking fantastic. Mr. Fox was actually pretty dope. That was good.
Yeah. Did you see Island of Dogs?
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Also good. His animated ones are the best. I think I would put those 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm gonna sit through and watch 23 Marvel films and enjoy them all, I can at least try to develop an appreciation for something like Wes Anderson. You know, it's like...
That's true.
Oh my God! Could you imagine a Wes
Anderson
Anderson Marvel movie? I'd love to see that.
I would like to see that mashup. Yeah,
but not stop animation because that's too much work for him. Like let's say like a Life Aquatic Marvel movie. Let's go with okay. Here's a good question for you guys. Say I just said it, or we're gonna make a Life Aquatic movie, but it's gonna be a Marvel movie. Which characters would you want?
Alpha Flight, the Canadian superheroes.
I mean,
Puck
that would be a perfect.
and Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Was his name Captain Canada or was it Captain Canuck?
It was another Canadian superhero, but the character from Alpha Flight is called Guardian.
Ah.
And also Vindicator.
And we could do Alpha Flight, one of the episodes where Wolverine was in it.
Yeah.
Because he's Canadian.
Yeah.
That would be toy. Like
Really
Wolverine
Canadian.
and Sasquatch adventure. I'd be into that.
Definitely.
Derek, how about you?
Well, yeah, sure. Alpha Flight, whatever.
No, you're supposed to pick your own.
Was I?
Is how this game works. Yeah.
Marvel superheroes for a Wes Anderson.
It doesn't have to be like an indie team either. It can be.
It would have to. What fucking mainstream? It would have to be an indie team. You're not gonna have a corporate fucking.
Well, they could redo Fantastic Four for the millionth time.
Just pretend those other 4 reboots didn't exist.
I'm waiting for a good Fantastic Four because I love the comic book team up of Fantastic Four so much that I put up with those movies, and I still kind of like them just because the Fantastic Four are in it. So if they get one, I mean, how do you fuck up Fantastic Four with Miles Teller? How is that possible? And Michael B. Jordan. Those like 2 of the biggest actors.
It was definitely a flop. That's for sure.
I didn't mind the fucking Jessica Alba. What Chris Evans in?
Yeah, he was Human Torch.
Yeah, he was Human Torch, right?
And Michael Chiklis was the thing.
Yeah.
And God, who was that guy who was Mr. Fantastic?
He knows the comic book name, but not the actor's name.
Yeah.
I can't remember that guy's name. Matt in the comments just said he thinks DC lends itself better to Wes Anderson. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could get a Blue Beetle Booster Gold Wes Anderson movie, but that's just too obvious. It's a cliche. I mean, come on.
All right, we got anything else?
I mean, we could. There's always. Wesley. The what? Oh yeah, the Olympics. They're gonna have. Breakdancing is going to be in the Olympics for 2024. So the Summer Olympics that they put on hold because of COVID, I think they're going to plan to do next year. I don't know if that'll happen, but breakdancing is going to be in the one after that.
Yeah, the
So
sports they chose seem like right out of the 1980s. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got skateboarding, breakdancing, sport climbing, surfing. Like, this is just a rock vacation.
The IOC is stuck in a fucking. It takes them like 20 years to plug into the zeitgeist to be.
it's like X Games lost the licensing for these sports, and they're like, these sports, nobody's covering them anymore. Now that X Games went broke because nobody watched it, let's get right in there.
Stay tuned for 2084 when they introduce fidget spinning to the Olympic Games.
Yeah, apparently they did it in, what was it, the Youth Olympics? I don't know. They had like a trial run in either the World Championships or the World Youth Olympics, and it did so well that they're adding it in. I mean,
Was that breakdancing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like bowling used to be in the Olympics, so I guess you could put anything in.
I mean, you look at the sports that are in the Olympics, and it's like, I don't know that breakdancing has any less of a right to be in there.
Yeah.
Like fucking, who gives a fuck about shot put? Like, when was the last time that was a relevant sport?
Or even the like 60 different gymnastics. Like someone's like, I'm watching gymnastics. I'm like, oh, which one is that? Like the tumbling? And they're like, well, it's the one that's like tumbling, but they run. I think it's called vaulting. And you're like, oh, that's its own one. And they're like, yeah. And then, I mean, I guess the ribbon spinning one, I would watch breakdancing before that. It's funny because at first I was like, this is stupid. I'm not going to watch it. And then like Derek said, all those other dumb ones that are in there, you're like, oh yeah, I'd probably watch it.
100%.
Well, with skateboarding and surfing, I just think about like, what was it, Ross Ribiotti and like the and stuff, and like, how many stoners are gonna come to the Olympics?
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh man, stay sober for how long to make the
yeah. Skateboarding, I feel like, I'm glad that it's going to be in there, but I feel like they missed all the cachet of skateboarding, like the early 2000s.
Tony Hawk's coming out of retirement just to get a gold medal. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Huh?
I bet he could still shred. What's that Sean guy's name? The guy with red hair?
Shaun White?
Yeah, the like only
Sean
other
Red?
Yeah, the only other super famous snowboard, or I guess he was a snowboarder, but then he went to skateboarding and then he like owned it that too, and then he went back to snowboarding.
Did he? I've only ever known him as a snowboarder.
Because he was in the Olympics, and then I was watching one. The only reason I know this is because the announcers told me. I was watching, I was like, oh, Shaun White, I know that guy. And they're like, oh, Shaun White's back after he took a couple years off to pursue skateboarding and won that. And I'm like, oh, now I know the backstory of this. I can't wait to tell somebody one day. And I finally got my chance.
On my podcast.
Yeah. This is interesting facts from 5 years ago that people need to know.
Pays off.
Yeah, so I feel like, well, they did re-release Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the video game, so this could be perfect time. Well, it's 4 years away too, so it's going to be even more removed from the popularity of the sport.
It's kind of embarrassing, but I've been watching Jack Black's video game channel, and I just love that they gave him a cameo in the new versions of Tony Hawk.
Did they?
Yeah, nice. It's just so funny.
Like, is he a character you can download, or is he part of the story, or a character you can play as?
He's an unlockable character, like Officer Dick or something like that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Or like Spider-Man.
Just so funny.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder if they could get the rights to have Spider-Man and Wolverine in there. Because they were in one. Spider-Man was in the first one, I think. Wolverine was in the second one as unlockable characters.
How about a Tony Hawk Pro Skater featuring Spider-Man and Wolverine, directed by Wes Anderson?
There you go.
That's a callback, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to call it a night.
We're going to end on Derek's high note. Yeah. Wes, tell the folks where they can listen to your fine music. I guess you already did, but it's nice to remind them. Get all your socials out there into the world, like where they can find you on Twitter and all that jazz.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me, guys. I've had a great time, and thank you, everybody, for listening. Again, I'm Wesley David Scott, aka Zulu Panda. I'm a singer-songwriter from Vancouver. I tour Canada, and you can find me everywhere, pretty much at Zulu_Panda. This is my newest album. It's called Sad Bastard Music, and you can find it everywhere. The best place to find it, of course, is Bandcamp, so zulupanda.bandcamp.com.
Oh, this is one thing I always wonder. How did you get the name Zulu Panda? Is it like a big story, or is it just?
No, I really wanted to play off of a name that would catch people's interest. And at the time, I was working in a very important social work position, and so I didn't want to have just the Wesley David Scott show out there.
Oh yeah.
So I was really into Wilco, and they have an album. Well, all their stuff, it kind of revolves around the NATO phonetic alphabet, the ones that the pilots use. So Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Alpha Bravo Charlie, that sort of thing. And so I thought Zulu Panda was kind of a funny play on that. Obviously, there's no panda, but it's also kind of a recognition of the idea that everything comes from somewhere. Everything's a remix. That we often forget where the roots of our own music, our own culture, our own foods come from. And so it comes from all parts of the world. And so I just wanted that kind of, what the hell is that name? So
that's cool.
Very cool. Check it out. Also check out Wes's custom candle company. Get your orders in before Christmas. He has assured all of our listeners that he can make your orders in time for Christmas.
Got 32 in stock that I can make. So
perfect.
Yeah. And you might, by some point in the future, see Outrage Factory candles. So keep your fingers crossed for that. I
mash up.
Love swag so much that I just make it.
Awesome.
Hey everyone.
Logo, by the way, I really dig the Outrage Factory logo.
Oh, thank you. I drew it myself.
He did a great job.
I am also been using Photoshop for many years. Not since I was 14 like you. I think I started when I was 21. So like 20 years.
Cool.
More information people needed to know.
Thanks to Wes, thanks to Dale, and thank you to me. I've been your co-host, Derek Bolin. You can find me on the Twitter machine at Herder.
I've been your co-host, Dale DeRuiter. You can find me on the Twitter machine at SuperDalebot.
Find us on the internet by searching Outrage Factory or Outrage Fact Pod. I think most places where...
our website is outragefactory.com. Everything is Outrage Fact Pod. That's how you can find us on Facebook. But if you're watching this as a live stream, that's where you watch it. I think that's the Twitter handle is Outrage Fact Pod.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. And then
Patreon.
We have a Gmail if you want to give us some feedback. Tell me how handsome you think my high-necked sweater is. It's the first time I worn a sweater on the podcast.
Is that turtle? Not quite a turtleneck?
No,
what do you got going on there?
I think it's like a fusion. I don't know. I'm not a fashion guy, as some people might have guessed. Oh, I just also want to acknowledge Wes's fine blazer. You said that's an R2-D2?
This is my R2-D2 suit. Yep.
Is it creepy if I ask you to give us a twirl?
It is creepy, but it's pretty much standard. R2-D2 skin, so...
Wesley's first and last interview on the podcast.
Well, thanks for creeping me out.
It took me over an hour to creep him out. There's a new record.
All right, everyone. Thanks again to Wes for joining us. And
thanks,
to everyone.
Thanks, Dale.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. And until next week,
stay angry. Oh, 150. Episode 150. Big deal.
Oh, hey, congratulations.
Hey. Century and a half.
There you go. When did you start the podcast then?
3 years ago?
I feel, like 3 years ago-ish, probably a little more. I think there have been periods where we've just been like, oh, fuck it, for 2 months and not done any episodes.
Yeah, I think the longest we ever went was a month. Because we'd go 2 weeks without recording, then we'd record, and then it would take another couple weeks to finally get it up.